folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and welcome back to my series where I talk about how I would refresh each and every expansion pack for The Sims 4 that's released so far. I can't believe I've already been doing this every Saturday for the past 4 weeks. So now we're on to expansion pack number 5, Seasons. It's my favorite pack overall for this game so far. So I think a lot of us would probably agree that this is the expansion pack that needs a refresh the least. However, that does not mean there's no room for improvement. So this one I think is going to have more of an approach of how to make an already great expansion pack even better. Even though, yeah, maybe there's some things that should have been there. It's not really as strong a feeling of how to make a lacking expansion pack what it should have been in the first place. You may be wondering, why is there footage of Snowy Escape on the screen if this episode is about seasons? Well, Snowy Escape brought something to the game that I thought would never happen, and that is deep snow. Though, you put a big star beside that because it's not exactly what you think it is. With this sim here, he's walking through deep snow in Mount Komorebi, but the thing is, it only appears in certain spots, and it's always in those same spots. And it's not like sometimes it isn't there, and sometimes it is, it's just there all the time. So I guess you could say it's an object. It probably is what that is behind the scenes. But it is kind of interesting that even that level of deep snow happened. Even though Seasons was overall really well received, there is one big controversy that I think would need to be addressed in a Seasons refresh, and that is deep snow. I mean, it's really sad how The Sims 2, which came out in 2004 originally, pulled off deep snow with its Seasons expansion a few years later. But with The Sims 4, which came out way later, does not have that. The closest thing we have is that deep snow in certain parts of Mount Komorebi. When Seasons was about to release, the lead producer Simguru Grant said that they did research deep snow. They were trying to implement it, but they didn't have the confidence they'd be able to achieve the visual quality bar that they expect for The Sims 4, so Grant did make the difficult decision to focus their efforts elsewhere. So to me, it seems that they were a little rushed, so if they had more time, maybe they could have figured it out. So if they did a Seasons refresh, then this would be perfect for them to go back and actually implement deep snow. I'm not saying that Snowy Escape would just completely make deep snow easy to add, but I think it does remove at least one step in the process. I also think hail was a major exclusion from The Sims 4 Seasons. Sims 2 and 3 had it, and Sims 2 even had death by hail. So to have that back and just another form of weather, I think that would be great. There is also the topic of natural disasters. I've thought about this too, especially flooding and tornadoes. Flooding I think is doable, especially now that we do have the water tool back, and it is possible to flood houses using that, even though that's permanent unless you manually remove it. But maybe they could add a flooding situation to it and be able to resolve it. With tornadoes though, I'm not sure if that's possible with The Sims 4's engine, because that would be quite big on a technical level. You'd have this giant funnel showing up slowly going over the lot, not just destroying things like chairs, but possibly your entire house, including the walls and windows and the roof and all that. So, I don't know. I don't believe this is possible. I'm not a game developer. Maybe a future Sims game could be built to handle that. But what I think they could do is make the stronger wind a bit more devastating. They could either add another level of wind or add it to the existing strong wind, where certain objects could get destroyed if they're left outside. Speaking of making the weather more devastating, I'm surprised power outages weren't included with Seasons, since we basically have them in City Living with that electrical box that sometimes goes out. So yeah, put that in. If there's thunderstorms or even really big blizzards, then your Sims have to deal with that for a varying amount of hours, maybe even a full-on day. I think that could add a lot of challenge to the game. One other weather-related thing I'd like to see is to make the ground stay wet for longer after a rainstorm ends, because it all goes away in, I believe, less than 5 seconds, whereas in The Sims 3, I'm pretty sure that would stay around for a number of hours, maybe even half a day. Also on the topic of rain, I think they should add a Rainjackets category to create a sim. I don't like how there's this randomized situation outfits for when Sims walk by in the rain, like when they go to a festival, because often the outfits are not flattering, so I would like to just be able to control that myself instead of using MC Command Center to just make my Sims stay in their everyday outfit, because I mean, I'd like to use the rain jackets in the game, but I don't think it really makes sense in the categories that we already have. Sure, you can set a rain jacket to be one of their everyday outfits, but even with MC Command Center, I don't think there's a way to guarantee that they'll wear that particular outfit every single time they walk by in the rain. I know usually I wait until the end to talk about free stuff, but Rainjacket should totally be a part of a free update, since they already did that for the hot and cold weather wear, and that's kinda nice considering then all the pre-made Sims that are in the later packs and all the other packs in general can have those outfits already set instead of just something super random that doesn't suit them. It would be nice if the snowball and water balloon fights were a little bit more lively. I don't know, they just feel kinda off, like they just kind of stand around for a bit and then one Sim throws the water balloon or snowball and then it just, you have a bit of a delayed effect and then the Sim on the receiving end either gets hit or not, and then the other Sim is like, ha ha, or like, oh no, it looks a little robotic. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. I also wonder if seasonal allergy should be added to the game. I don't know if it should be done as a trait, or maybe through some other component of Create a Sim, but just thought I'd throw that one out there. Regarding the holidays, I think there's a few improvements that they could make. We have sentiments in the game now, and I think they would tie in very nicely with the holidays. So, for example, if your family has a great Harvest Fest, then they would get a really positive sentiment for at least a few days. But on the negative side, I would like for that to be addressed a little differently, because there's been several occasions where it's just like, I don't feel like celebrating this holiday right now on this particular day with this particular family, and it's already annoying enough with my Sims getting sad because I don't feel like having them celebrate that holiday, even though it's understandable, but I don't want that to be even worse. So instead, I would rather a negative holiday sentiment be triggered if my Sims act mean to each other on that day, and then that could last for a few days. Maybe there could even be some funny negative sentiments towards the holiday-related NPCs, because you can fight the Flower Bunny for the eggs, or fighting Father Winter for presents, so if you lose, you could have an angry sentiment with them for a while. That would just be kind of like a comical sort of thing. With holiday creation, I think there need to be a lot more icons. It's a similar situation to get-togethers clubs, I just don't think there's nearly enough. And it would be nice to see some traditions that integrate with other packs that have come out since seasons or even just before, because I think there should have been some pet-related traditions. I see what they were going for with the traditions and why there aren't as many, because traditions are a lot more general in comparison to the very specific clubs, because the holidays are celebrated across, like, all the Sims in every world. Though it would be nice if there was an option to make certain holidays only for certain Sims or for a certain world. But yeah, at least enable pets to take part in these holidays. Oh, and I can't believe I almost forgot, the Sims 3 version of the festivals. Perhaps they could bring those back, because we have those community venues with eco lifestyle where it can change between configurations depending on how your neighborhood votes. So I think it could be possible to pull off in The Sims 4, where you do have a festival lot that changes with every season. One thing I'd really love to see done in regards to having spooky stuff integration is have those costumes as part of the Wear Costumes tradition. There are also a couple of robot costumes we got a year or two ago in a free patch that were not added into that tradition either, so that I also think should be done. And also, maybe the interface for that shouldn't just be the traditional pie menu, but something like either the manicure UI that they did with the Spot A refresh, or the sort of like change outfit UI we already have, or just something completely different, but just something visually more interesting to help you get into the mood while selecting your Sim's costume for the day. There is also the subject of trick-or-treating. I know that if they did make it so that you could do the trick-or-treating yourself instead of having other Sims come to you, it would very quickly turn into loading screens the game, because The Sims 4 is not open world. So I struggle to think, how could they address this? And maybe what they could do is make it so that your Sims all kind of meet in the middle of the neighborhood somewhere. Maybe it could be somewhat like the sales tables that we've had in packs such as City Living and Jungle Adventure, but not exactly like that. You just have other Sims kind of stand by with a like portable table, and they have like the bags of treats, and you can go and trick or treat with your friends and go up to those Sims, and you either get tricked or treated, and yeah, maybe that could still work out. This next suggestion is kind of random, but how about snowmobiles? I mean, we've gotten plenty of things before cars, so it wouldn't surprise me to get cars before then, and I know they were on a survey several months before Snow Escape came out, so it could be just like a fun random addition that you wouldn't expect necessarily. And also slow dancing, gonna bring that up again because that would also fit with seasons, especially considering the Love Day holiday. And getting into the free update, well, not really too much for me to discuss in this one, but I already did bring up the Rainjackets cast category, so yep, put that in. But also online dating. I know in the past this was exclusive to packs, but we live in a more modern time now, it's much more commonplace, so I think now it makes a lot more sense to just have that in the game for everybody. But there we go, that's my video for a season's refresh. This ended up being a lot longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be super short. But feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What would you add to seasons if you had the chance? And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!